Very good.
Okay, thanks. These are Bernese Mountain Dogs. Normally wouldn't have two of them, but Karen's doing the presentation, and so she had to
They're
bring.
getting groomed after I leave
Yeah, that's
here.
what I'm saying, yeah, yeah. She's doing this, and then she's gonna have to, she's gonna take them right over to get groomed. But these are two of her generations that she's gonna be talking about. Bernese Mountain Dogs, you were talking about for size and things like that and what you needed. Diane has her pit bull that she mentioned, and even though he's short, he's stout and sturdy enough, very strong, that he can help her get up if she falls. They have a longer working lifespan than a dog, the Bernese Mountain Dog size. They have a shorter work lifespan. So that would be something that you would consider. If you got a Great Dane or something like that, they have a very short lifespan. They may be tall and may be handy, but like I said, you gotta look at that, and then you run into what Karen's going to be talking about with the overlapping dogs and things. So there's a lot that goes into it. The dog that Diane had was a retired racing greyhound, and what had happened is he had gotten a toe injured when he was on the track, and they removed half of it, and they didn't remove the whole thing like they usually do. So he was walking, and eventually that started working through, and as soon as she relinquished him back to the rescue, it was like within a day it was poking through and leaving blood marks along there. So who knows how long it had been, working and all that. So it's a real testament to the dog's spirit.
Also, I forgot to mention was that that my dog, she also trained my dog, like you said, I was afraid of falling and nobody'd know. And she had trained the dog to go get the phone and bring to me so I could call, and I was even trying to find her phone because I was letting him dial 911 for me. So if I was unconscious, because I couldn't afford the services. So like I said, Cindy did amazing. And I thought that dog I couldn't do anything with him. And she said she fooled me.
But yeah, that's something that as an owner trainer you can train all those things. And there's various resources that are listed in your handouts. Some of them are clicker training videos, and we'll go over them again, but those are things that you can get. And even though some of the things are taught as tricks on the video, they're service dog tasks. And the CCI dogs, some of the ones that they drop would be acceptable for other organizations. So it's really interesting hearing the things that they'll drop the dogs for, and the high level. And CCI is an ADI organization, so they have a much higher requirement than the national rules. The ADA says, and I didn't go over this initially, but if a dog is aggressive or not house trained, then the dog can be told, you can be told to remove your service dog. So aggression and not house trained are two of the reasons that a service dog would be asked to be removed. And that's any organization, CCI, private trained, anything.
Now for CCI, they're talking here about the Wounded Veterans Initiative. Is this just for physical disabilities, or do they also train for PTSD?
I'm not sure.
They don't mention anything mental health wise. They talk about opening and closing drawers and manual.
Yeah, those are all
wheelchairs.
the physical service dog tasks. Yeah.
Now,
Usually they'll call service dogs for things that do that, open doors and things like that, and then psychiatric service dogs for, or PTSD service dogs.
now my post-traumatic stress is from a home invasion, but it was two colored people, but I don't have the problem with the color. I start freaking out when I'm post-traumatic stress when somebody with dreads come around, whether it's female or male.
Oh, wow.
Do they train them for specifics, or do you?
Well, what do you mean for specific? That they would block, or that they would
Yeah.
act aggressively?
No, not necessarily
Okay.
aggressively, but I mean, like, you would train them like the sense, like, say if she had dreadlocks and I started like getting antsy.
That's
you-
that's what it would be, is your,
Okay.
yeah, your behavior is what they would key off of.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to teach them something like with somebody with dreadlocks, comes, then you start nudging me and things like that.
Yeah.
That would not be something that you would want them to train, because, some things can generalize, very quickly.
Right.
And, we never know exactly how the dogs are gonna perceive something. So they may see a person with dreadlocks, and you teach them that, and then you start getting upset, and you don't want them associating this person with dreadlocks as causing you stress, because you don't want them to start acting protectively.
Right.
Because a service dog should not be acting protectively.
Right.
That's why they train a bark. That's the reason they train a bark. And that's another reason, with you guys, with the PTSD, and all, that you need to be careful why the person wants to get the service dog. It's not to protect the person, it's not to be a guard dog and things like that, because service dogs should not be trained, as attack dogs.
Right. No, I mean, I don't wanna have to leave an establishment because my anxiety goes out the roof.
Usually for
Yeah.
something like that, you teach the dog to do something like nudge you and interrupt that. And that would be a trained task, to nudge and interrupt that, and then and to remind you to pet them.
Okay.
So the petting, the nudge would be to interrupt, and the pet to distract you and give you something else to do.
Okay.
Some people will train their psychiatric service dogs to act like they need to go out or something like that, to nudge them, to bump them, and they're giving them a hand signal or something like that, so that they can use that as a means to leave a situation if there's a situation they're uncomfortable with. Oh, I need to take my dog out. You know, they give the dog a signal, and so the dog is nudging them, and oh, he needs to go out, and so they can gracefully leave a situation.
I'm ready.
Okay, and this is Karen, and she's had multiple generations of Bernese Mountain Dogs as service dogs, and she's going to talk a little bit about what it's like to be dealing with that. Do you want one of them here, or do you want me to keep them over here?
You can keep them right here, where you're more comfortable, and just sit down and hold it.
Okay.
Can I just turn the news station?
Yeah, yeah.
Hello, I'm Karen Alexander, and I'm sorry, I'm late.
You want me to get some water?
She,
You want me to get some water?
we can try it. They have been sitting in my vehicle for an hour with the air conditioner on. When you look at them, I had a phone problem this morning. And long story short is, I'm getting a new phone.
Oh,
It's not, yeah, it's less than 9 days old. And it's not repairable. So, I just don't, I had an old Razor, Motorola flip phone, and then in May I went to a Galaxy S5. And it's not fixable, so they'll mail it to me. And I'm stuck by there because I wanted to get it to work. Like, because I don't like to be out without a phone. Two things you should always travel with is a container for water and just one. And that's it.
So what, you got a phone problem?
Had a phone call. And then this is, comes from a site called stay.com. Like to pass that around. That's a new service dog. No, Active Dog, activedogs.com, we get that from. And this is the new vest.
Or you got that at Active Dogs?
Yeah,
oh, nice lightweight mesh.
yeah, I wanted to pass activedogs.com. But you see, please, no petting, service dog, and then their head, and then the body, that way.
Now, did you personalize the
I
patches?
did, I told them what I wanted, and then they put it on both sides.
Oh.
Yeah, those are
Nice,
standard, those are
light.
standard patches that you can
You
order.
can,
They
you
have
can,
different
you can
styles.
put different things, but these are, I'm looking at
And
this.
is that a
Velcro.
reflective stripe in the back?
She says,
I think so.
Yeah. That's-
Oh, no, no, no.
ActiveDogs.com.
But that's nice and
Oh, yeah,
light.
it is a.
Yeah, this one
Yeah.
would be going for Lola because she's the puppy
Will that fit her when she grows up?
in hailing the water. And,
Lola.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay, now sit down, down. Good, good. Sit down, sit. Come on, you need to sit, you need to lay down. You need to sit, you need to lay down. Down. What?
Now, how about this card, Karen? Where did you get this card?
That, I got that at Active Dog.
Oh,
You're not gonna
okay.
sit. Come on now, calm down.
And did you design it, or is this a
No,
pre-printed?
that's actually been redesigned since I bought my original one.
So that they have it in,
Yeah,
in
that's the
stock
new
there?
one, that you
Okay.
can buy a package of 30 for like $3 or $4. I feel if I was buying the best, I'd buy.
Okay.
They are really hyper right now because they haven't been, they've been sitting in the car for an hour. So, bear with them. And normally when I go out in public, I don't take photos of them, one or the other. And, the bigger one is 11 and a half. She's really tired. This one is 1 and a half, and she's still in training with Cindy's petting. Cindy's helped me train both of these dogs. I do have PTSD, and that's what I use the dogs for. And I have chronic depression, so the dogs help me with that also. Cindy's tasks that she's learned are to bump me and to paw me, to help with my thinking. I get caught in a loop, and or I'm like a deer in the headlights with the PTSD, and Cindy can sense that, and she will paw me. And a big dog like this will get me out of a room really easily. The younger one is starting to smell my breath. I had another one that did that. Now, I had not taught her how to do that. I'm working with her.
I mean, she can tell when your anxiety or depression is coming on from your breath?
Well, that's what I think she's doing, because sometimes she smells my breath and I've not eaten anything. And she hadn't quite figured it out yet. But I am working on behaviors for pawing me, to help me, and for her to learn to associate the chemical change in my body with a behavior, and it'll be pawing me. She also will, and some of this Cindy has told me to be real careful about, is she will jump, if I'm seated, she will jump and put her front feet up on my lap and reach up and look me in the face. So I think I'm gonna see how that works, but I don't want her when she weighs 79, and this big one over here weighs 82. There's only 3 pounds, 39, 81, 2, and they just look so different. And the big one's asleep. I started in 1995 thinking about a service dog. I got my first one. Can everybody see this? These are my dogs that I've had over the years. 96, I just put that there as a benchmark. Oh, no I didn't. 98 to 04, 10, 11, describe what I've got up here. This is the life longevity of each dog that I've used. And why I've done this is the first one, it takes about 2 years to train one, especially if they're puppies. And this one puppy, this puppy, this one came to me as an adult. Puppy. So, 2 years to train her, then I had this time with her until she died. So I actually had an overlap right here from 01 to 05
But now,
with this one. But this one came to me with a congestive heart problem, and I just started training her, and she died. So the time that I had invested on her there was really lost. Okay, so here comes Cindy with Clover. And in 05, so I actually had 3 dogs there for a short period of time. I had 2 years with Cindy to be trained. This one passed in 03. Then I had the 2 of them. And then this one died in 05. So I had 2 there. Cindy is still here. In 05, I got Willow May. Now, Willow May was a kennel dog. She came to me when she was 5. So I don't count any of this time because I actually got her in 2010. She was a smart dog. It did not take 2 years for me to train her. She was with the program within a year.
And what kind of kennel dog? I mean, she was a breeder?
She was a
Okay.
breeding dog.
Breeding dog.
She actually had 2 litters. She was a champion show dog and then brought into a breeding program. And she only had 2 litters. And then a friend of the breeder said, you know, she'd probably be happier in a home. Why don't you rehome her? And I put the word out. I needed another service dog because this one was starting to get old by 2010.
What breed was Miller?
They're all Bernese Mountain
Oh,
Dogs.
okay, very good.
So
no, you've gotten Faith.
I've got Faith. In 2008, I trained her for 2 years, and she flunked. She did not make a good service dog, so she's out of the picture. I rehomed her. I still get to see her, but then at one time I had Faith and Cindy, and then Faith leaves, and then I get Willow May. So I have Willow May and Cindy. Up here was Jamaica. I got her in 06 as a puppy. She died in 08. She was trained. She had just finished her training. She was ready for her public access test. And she had some type of genetic blood disorder. There is a blood disorder that we know of in a breed that's like hemophilia. She tested as a carrier of it, but did not have it. But she had allergies. She had some other blood disease because she was spayed. The doctor had problems getting the bleeding to stop. And when I picked her up, he said, let me keep her overnight because she'd started bleeding again from the incision. And she bled out overnight and died. So She's gone. She's gone.